I'm not going to
I'm
argue with you.
stronger than every child.
Not every child.
Every child.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
And Saige.
Yes, Anthony.
Can I
No.
start it off? Can I start it off a little?
No.
I'm gonna start it off a little, just a little, there's something in the spreadsheet that I want you to watch with me.
Oh, okay.
If there was a spreadsheet, which there is not, if there was one, there's something in it.
We're jumping right into something labeled secret?
There's just, if you would just watch this video clip with me with audio, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, well, before we get ahead of ourselves, because I'm also going to have to ask for Alex's help on this. Hi, good morning, Alex.
Hi, good morning, Alex.
We have to do all our establishing shots, Anthony.
No, we
Good
can't
morning.
do anything.
No?
We have to
Hello?
watch. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning.
We can't do anything. We have to watch this clip, Alex.
Okay, all right.
It's so important.
Okay, I'm going to click the thing, and we're going to need, I'm told, audio from my laptop.
Yeah, and also, yeah, let's keep those subtitles up.
Okay, it's 36 seconds long. The subtitles are baked in. I have no choice.
Yeah, great.
Anyways, okay.
Full screen that bad boy. Let's do
I'm
this.
gonna. Alex, are you ready? Alan, get up. Okay. This is from Unsolved Mysteries.
The figure turned away from the door like it was leaving. And by the time I got up and walked 3 paces to the door, I don't know what happened. It just turned the corner and disappeared.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty weird, right?
When Alan Mann of Lake Wales, Florida, began claiming that he had a ghost in his bedroom, his parents poo-pooed the idea that their house was haunted. That was that, until Alan got married and his 16-year-old bride
I'm sorry,
Linda
what?
moved into the house.
You just got stacked! You thought that clip was gonna zig, and it zagged! Yeah.
I'm sorry, you all are seeing the stream. Let's cut away from my laptop. There we go. I went back to the chat real quick. Hey, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Did he just casually say his 16-year-old bride moved into the house?
Well, listen, when you're casually saying the ghost of somebody is following someone around, I guess everything gets delivered very casually.
Okay, here's the thing,
When
Anthony.
you're like, it turns out that the family's well was haunted by a kraken that wanted revenge.
Yeah.
And also, they marry underage women. Cause what do you do? What
Like,
do you
how
do?
do you take it up from the Kraken?
You don't. Yeah, you don't act surprised that there's a haunted kraken.
Yeah. Well, see, now one thing, not real. The other thing, real bad. Real bad. Real bad. Real
I
bad.
was watching that clip, and it was one of those things where, listen, 36 seconds in this economy is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot for me.
Yeah.
I'm fried. I'm overbaked. It's done. It's over. You know? But I was watching it and I was like, why are so many people sharing this clip? What is the deal?
What is it about this
What is it about?
clip?
Because it was like, and then I was like, oh,
that's
that
why.
really took a turn.
And you know what? And they don't give you any hint of it in the title. They give you no hint of it in the title of that video.
Which is
now,
perfect.
I have to agree. Who was it that just said this? I was looking for it. Yeah, that was Flannel Fries, because I was obviously watching for the joke, right?
Yeah, sure.
I know there's going to be something that's wild happening
but
in this.
you couldn't
and
have known.
I got caught off guard by the poo-pooed.
Sure.
And I was like, are we all just laughing at the fact that he said poo-pooed?
Yeah.
And then immediately following that,
It was a red herring.
it was.
That was a MacGuffin, baby.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's just a thing. His 16-year-old bride threw it right in there.
You know, I think a lot, and maybe this is
Sure.
just because I grew up as an actor, but
Yeah.
of people who do crime reenactments.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I was a kid, I used to audition a lot to be the victims It was like a kid got kidnapped or whatever, and
Right.
you're auditioning for these kinds of things. So
Yeah.
I never auditioned to be a perpetrator because I was a child.
Sure.
Though I wish that'd be awesome.
Though I think we can all agree that the best movies about crime
Are
have
usually
child
committed- yeah.
child perpetrators.
Yeah, agreed. And I just think about the guy who was just auditioning, the guy who booked this role, right?
Yeah.
The guy who got up out of that bed, chased after a ghost wife, like lady,
No, that
right?
was Alan Mann from Florida.
Right. They don't do their own reenactments.
Why?
Shocking.
They were the only ones that were there.
So I'm thinking about this guy who's
Mm-hmm.
like, Mom, Dad, I made it. And he only read his parts of the script.
Right.
Like probably didn't even get the announcer's lines and like did his little reenactment and is like, Mom and Dad, I'm gonna be on TV. You're gonna see me and there's gonna be ghosts. It's gonna be so cool. And then he finds out in watching it back that he was also playing a predator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're watching your character and you're like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, look, they put the ghost in and everything. Hold on, I did what? And because here's the thing, you've got a bunch of people in middle America.
And the show's not even about that. Like the show just moves on.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
show's
yeah.
just like, see that guy? Pedophile. And then just moves right on.
Exactly. Right. And you're sitting there, and again, I picture this guy on the couch, mom on one side, dad on the other, right? Proudly watching himself on Unsolved Mysteries. And here's the thing, a lot of middle America, just like Anthony, doesn't know that these are reenactment actors. Anthony had no idea.
I mean, it seems like you could just use Alan. He was there.
So I here's a weird fact. I auditioned, went through the process of, and booked an episode of America's Most Wanted.
First of all, congrats.
Well, they were doing a crime reenactment, and I was playing some kind of kid that got like kidnapped or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't mean to take this lightly. I apologize.
Yeah. Just some bullshit kid who got abducted.
Not.
It's not even
That's
a big
not what
deal.
it is. That's not what it is. That's not what it is.
Kids are so small. You can just throw them in a trunk. It's
Anthony.
like, what? They're tiny.
I'm not gonna
I'm
argue with you.
stronger than every child.
Not every child.
Every child.
Gonna have to fact check that one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fact
Alex,
check it.
check that.
Find a stronger child
Find
than
a
me.
kid that could beat up Anthony.
Find a kid that you think
And
is stronger than me and then watch me bench
and
press
invite
that
them to the
child.
studio.
Okay.
Yeah, invite them here. We'll
Searching.
fly them here.
Anyways,
Inviting the strongest kid.
they caught the guy from America's Most Wanted before
First
we
of all,
filmed.
congrats.
So it was one of those things where, like, a week before we were supposed to film, they were like, "Hey, this doesn't happen often, but we can't do the episode. That he's no longer America's Most Wanted. He got caught."
And everybody's like, oh, beans.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, I can't believe they caught the guy. This sucks.
Yeah, this like dangerous.
I was gonna buy a
violent
new bike.
criminal. Yeah, but like and then you've got a bunch of people that are like, "Well, I did just lose out on a job."
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
Ah,
of course.
Come on, man. I was going to get a new iPhone.
Right. I think this predates iPhones, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's like pre-iPhones, but yeah. Devon Nacho said Pixel Circus now casting for the strongest child type.
Look, here's the thing. Is there a stronger child than me in the world? I think not. But I'm willing to admit that mathematically there's a slim chance that there might be a child out there. But the reason why I say that we'll have to fly them in is this child is probably training in some far off monastery on top of a mountain somewhere.
Okay, yeah.
Because it has to have the strength of a fully grown tough guy like me.
Google has recommended a clip of Karate Kid to me.
Which one? Which one? Is it Ralph Macchio or is it Will Smith's kid?
Will Smith.
Yeah, no, move along.
Okay.
Yeah, I will say, I don't think Little Smith could beat you up.
Thank you.
Then.
Thank
For
you.
sure now.
No.
Look, I have no idea. What's his name? Jaden. Really had nothing. I had nothing in my brain, not one single word, name, or thought.
Kid's a twig and a Scientologist. I could take him. Is he? Well, there's rumors. There's rumors that they're
Anthony,
Scientologists.
what did we say about being 65% sure?
We're all
I don't think you
65%
can just
sure that
say-
the Smiths are caught
I don't
up.
think you can just say someone's a Scientologist.
No, you can't just say it. But they might be.
Anyone might be.
Anyone might be, but there was like a big thing for a while because they funded schools in another country and the money went through Scientology or something. But they were also like, oh, we're just friends with Tom Cruise, and everybody's like, don't say that. That's even weirder.
Yeah, that's a little sus.
Yeah, say less.
Say less,
Honestly.
please. VO 5100 said, "Is Jaden a Scientologist? Jaden owns Neopets." Look, I just want to clear the
Wait, does
Neopets name. I just want to clear the Neopets name.
Okay.
Neopets is no longer owned by Scientologists. They were for a time. And now, instead, they are revamping and bringing in the weirdest influencers in the world to be Neopets ambassadors. And
That's
that has
right.
nothing to do with Scientology.
That's right. Now John Legend has money dumped into Neopets, we think.
And we have no reason to believe John Legend is a Scientologist,
Listen,
but he could be.
I have no reason to believe John Legend.
What's he
never-
ever done to make me trust him?
Yeah. John Legend hasn't garnered any favor with me. I've had 0 conversations with John Legend.
Ooh, okay. There's some great takes on it in the chat.
On John Legend?
I was partially, yeah.
Oh, all right.
A lot of it's
Unfortunately,
about Scientology.
They
though.
did try and do Neopets blockchain.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was-
They
We talked
did.
talked a lot
So
about that.
They made Neopets NFTs, and then they launched a game that was going to be 3D Neopets in the metaverse. I love the games of my childhood. I survive by regression. So I know
I don't.
everything about Neopets.
I look forward to the future all the time, and I'm a responsible adult.
Yeah, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a real tough guy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're a tough guy, and no kid could beat you up.
I'm a real tough guy.
These are all true facts.
Hey,
What up?
is there big news today?
Yeah, there is one big piece of news.
Just
I
one big
suppose.
news.
There's one big piece of news. Should we start with big news? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's start with some big news.
We're only 20 minutes into the show.
I feel like we're like 5 minutes into the show.
Who knows?
Who can say?
We probably started on time.
I think we always do.
There's
Do you know
been-
what? I bet John Legend isn't on time for stuff. There, I said it. I don't
Yeah?
think John Legend's punctual.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm 65% sure of that. I don't trust him. I don't trust him.
I don't trust him to be on time. If we had brunch plans,
To be fair, do you know the main reason
Chrissy's not invited.
Chrissy is not invited. I was going to say the main reason I don't trust John Legend
Is because of
the
Chrissy Teigen.
Is because of the Squid Game party that they had.
So it's not the Squid Game party for me. It's Chrissy Teigen bullying a teenage girl off social media for me.
That's a huge one.
It's Chrissy Teigen sending death threats to Courtney Stodden for no reason.
but
me.
then as recently as like last year,
Yeah.
there was the Squid Game party.
It's super weird that people that have exorbitant amounts of money, after doing something bad publicly, oddly enough, don't become better people when they still continue to make exorbitant amounts of money. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like the extraordinarily wealthy have no motivation or need to get better.
God, I can't wait until I stop being a temporarily disgraced millionaire and become a real millionaire.
Yeah.
Like we're
So
all
you can-
guaranteed, like
so we
all
can stop
Americans are
improving.
guaranteed to become.
Yeah.
Because once I'm finally an American millionaire, like we all are, I'm gonna be the worst person.
I can just stop with all this self-improvement journey.
I'm gonna be terrible.
The first thing I'm gonna do when I make my first million,
Yeah.
quit therapy.
First thing I'm gonna do when I make my first million, arrest all the therapists. I'm not just gonna quit therapy. I'm gonna get rid of it for everyone.
Millionaires can just make citizens arrests like that.
Anybody can, but they only take it seriously if it's a millionaire.
Yeah.
You can try to citizens arrest somebody. Have you ever tried to citizens arrest somebody?
Oh, have you?
No, but I feel like I should.
Alex, you ever tried to citizens arrest anybody?
No, never, but I'll put it on my to-do list.
You should. Hey, how valid is citizens arrest really?
Yeah, can you
Look up, can I citizens arrest my neighbor?
yeah, like tell us how actually a citizens arrest works.
Please Google, can I citizens arrest my neighbor?
Okay, all right.
Free iPad.
We'll give you a minute to get some information on it.
Yeah, really look into that while we move
Yeah.
into something else. We'll move into a smaller story first.
Yeah.
As we're waiting on the information about citizens arrest. Want to pour one out, unfortunately, Saige.
Yeah?
For the Evil Dead game.
Yo, I was so surprised. I saw this in if we had a spreadsheet where it would be this morning, and it was just like, oh, the Evil Dead game. And I was like, what about the Evil Dead game?
Yeah. What about she got real defensive?
Yeah. What the fuck about it?
What
dude?
about the Evil Dead
What's
game?
your fucking problem with the Evil Dead game, dude?
Okay, the Evil Dead game has always been there for me, unlike John Legend.
Unreliable. The Evil Dead game is already losing dev support. They will no longer be developing new content for it, so the game is not being like delisted or removed or anything. But they can confirm that they will no longer be releasing the Nintendo Switch version of the game, and there will be no new content releases. This game came out in May of last year.
Yeah, it's not surprising, and the reason it's not surprising is when that game came out, we immediately looked at each other and we said, this is not the Evil Dead game that I want. It's not that it looked bad. It looked like it was really well. You good?
No, I spilled.
Oh, no.
I'll be right back.
All right. This is not the Evil Dead game that we wanted. It's an asymmetric. You're walking like a child walks when they spill. Like, oh no. Anyway, the asymmetrical horror or the asymmetrical hunting genre with the horror-based skin. The thing is, there are so many of these games. There are so many of these games, and there really, I think, in the genre is only room, just like we say about like MMOs and other massively like sort of multiplayer-based games as a service. The issue is there's really only audience enough to make one the popular one. And right now, it's Dead by Daylight. It's been Dead by Daylight for the last couple years.
Yeah. It's hard to topple Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight has the appeal of a few things. One, it has a massive thriving community because it cornered the market at a good time. And two, you're not ascribing to a specific singular IP.
Yes.
The great thing about Dead by Daylight is that you will get to live in all of these different horror IPs. And
All
you know
your
that they will
favorite
continue
horror
to do
IPs.
those collaborations.
Nicolas Cage.
Uh-huh.
So, but that's the thing is if you can add characters, like if you can add the xenomorph from Aliens,
Yeah.
into Dead by Daylight, then you don't need an Aliens asymmetric game. There's no reason to
Right.
develop that game. So what you do when you make a game like Evil Dead is you are mostly appealing to people who are fans of the Evil Dead.
Yes.
And when
You're not going to take the general asymmetric survival game fans.
Right. And so when the game came out, I was excited, but I've really just wanted one good single-player, campaign-based Evil Dead game
absolutely.
forever.
Yeah.
Or even if you were going to make it multiplayer, I don't want it to be PvP. I want it to be co-op. If you're going to have like Ash and Kelly and the characters from Ash versus Evil Dead,
Yeah.
or Ruby, like if you're going to have any of those characters, I want them to be fighting together.
I agree. I think that there's a lot of fun in, I mean, you kind of are when you're like on the survivor team of it, essentially. You
Yeah.
are kind of, you're not fighting, you're surviving together. You
Right.
don't get to be an active participant in it, which is strange for the genre, strange for like the IP in itself. But you and I are co-op girlies at the end of the day. We're just, we're co-op people till we die. We love to be friends in games.
Sure. But the Evil Dead audience skews a little older at this point. And
Do you think it's because we're old?
well, I think it is.
I'm not that old.
No, you're not that old. But what I'm saying is, but you've been playing. But you're a real gamer. You're rise and grind gamers. Your queen has arrived, and so you've been gaming since Go. So and
Gay
you're
since
also
Go, baby.
and you're also into older horror IP.
That is true.
So the audience skews a little older, and I think a lot of those the older audience wants to play an Ash campaign.
I agree. I am into the idea of the campaign. Even something like you said, though, of like a collaborative, like zombie horde style game where we are working together and we are active participants in getting to fight back.
Yeah.
Fun. We're fighting zombies, not running from, you know.
Yeah, and you know there were I think there were Deadites and stuff like that in the Evil Dead game where it's like there were little enemies and big enemies. But
Yeah.
what we want is we want a story game because what the Evil Dead fan base has wanted forever is just for the story of Evil Dead to continue
because it's a great story.
in any form. And Ash versus Evil Dead was a great show.
Oh, yeah.
It was an amazing show. And I was like, if you're picking up with those characters, let's pick up the story as well.
Yeah.
Or start it over. Like,
Yeah.
you know, do the story of Evil Dead again.
Sure.
But I don't know. I don't know. I didn't want an asymmetric thing from it.
No, I agree.
I just don't play that stuff very much.
Something odd has started happening in the chat. You know, we used to say when somebody was wise beyond their years, something to that effect, or like an old soul. But
Yeah.
Alonzo said, Saige has that old brain. And then Cass Lulu said, trauma old.
Yeah.
And Miss Reaper said, Saige old brain confirmed.
Yeah. Sage old trauma brain. Honest, true.
So,
Good fact is
Now-
Sage brain old trauma did.
now I am team that we do have to stop telling people they're an old soul when we all know it just means you missed out on a childhood.
Yeah, you've seen some shit is what people are trying
what
to
we
say.
mean is you've seen some shit, and let's not romanticize it, especially for young women. But like, damn guys, I just woke up.
She's only had her first spill of the day.
Please give me a minute.
Give her a minute. Alex, am I allowed to citizens arrest people or what? Yes? Under what conditions?
So you need to witness them committing a misdemeanor offense in your presence,
Okay, misdemeanor. I can't arrest somebody for a
and
felony.
or you know directly or indirectly they committed a felony,
Okay.
and or a felony's been committed and you have reasonable cause for believing the perpetrator committed it. So in order to make a citizen's arrest in California, for example, you have to tell them you intend to arrest them. So you have to say to their face, I'm going to arrest you.
Okay.
Tell them why, the cause of the arrest, and then you have to indicate your authority to make the arrest. So you have to say, I'm going to arrest you and I'm allowed. And then, if it's applicable, inform them that you called the police.
I'm going to arrest you because I'm allowed.
Yes.
By the power invested in me, by myself, I arrest you.
By the great state of Bear Flag.
In the name of the moon, I punish you. We've definitely probably committed misdemeanors in front of each other.
Oh,
we could totally
100%.
arrest each other.
Do you know how many misdemeanors I see every day? And I'm not a narc or anything, but I do want to arrest somebody.
I'm just saying,
Like,
we
I
could.
don't want to rat somebody out to the
No.
real cops,
No, obviously.
but I would like to arrest someone. Do we need to buy
Well,
do
you
we need to buy
can.
handcuffs?
You can be sued if you use too much force.
I heard you go, well,
Well, I was gonna say, I mean,
you can't just say that.
no, I need to. Do I need to buy applicable handcuffs? Is what I was saying. I don't know if anybody would recognize my authority currently.
Anthony, please. Anthony, please be a professional.
I am. That's why I'm thinking about getting the proper handcuffs for the job, as opposed to my inappropriate amateur handcuffs.
By the power vested in me, by seeing you do something bad.
You are also allowed to use a reasonable force. Of course, that is determined by the facts in a given case. Also, as we know, in our legal system, reasonable force is not defined the way it should be. So,
Yup. Anthony, I could kick your ass. It's me. I'm the kid that could beat you up
If that
and
kid,
then arrest you.
if that kid walked through the door and I thought they were trespassing, I'm allowed to German suplex that kid.
No, hold on.
No, I'm
The other way around.
allowed-
The kid's allowed to German suplex you.
I'm
Hey,
allowed
Can a child make a
to do a
citizen's arrest?
spiral frog stomp onto that child.
So a child could make a citizen's arrest. It is still illegal for you to suplex a kid.
No, not if the kid is committing a crime.
It is. No.
If the kid's committing a crime, I'm allowed to use reasonable force.
No.
Yes.
No.
Because I'm a
No.
citizen.
No. No.
And
No.
then
well, the kid could then
what
sue
happens
you.
is if this doesn't work, Saige, what happens is we wind up in an infinite arrest situation where the kid did something illegal. I frog stomp the kid. All right,
Illegal.
spiral frog stomp.
Okay.
I spiral frog stomp the kid. You go, hey, you can't spiral frog stomp a kid. Citizen's arrest. And then you tackle me. And then somebody goes, wait a minute, you can't just tackle random people. Citizen's arrest. All the way down until the entire great country of America is incarcerated.
Hey, we already have the largest population of incarcerated people of any country
Do you
anywhere.
think the chain reaction has already
so-
started?
Yeah, that's probably what did it. It's probably all citizens' arrests and no other corruption. That's probably it. That's probably it. Yeah. Also, you said the word narc earlier. There's something that's bothering me on the internet and on TikTok specifically. People are doing a lot of things like /positive, /S for sarcasm, right? But now people are saying narc for narcissist. And somebody had a thing that was like, yeah, when you're like neurodivergent raised by a narc, I was like, your mom was telling on you?
Yeah. She would walk into the mall with her kid and just scream out, this kid's neurodivergent.
Damn.
This kid? Hey.
And
hey,
like,
you know the typical brain activity of a human being and the way they're supposed to act in
not
society?
this one.
My kid don't do it. Woo! And then she frog stomped that kid.
I was like,
sorry, spiral frog stomped that kid.
And I was like, valid that you got some trauma from that. And then I realized by more and more people saying it that it was narcissist.
No, that's something different.
We already use narc. And I realized though that most people don't use the word narc as much as you and I use the word narc. We love the word narc.
Oh, it's the best word.
It's the best thing to call somebody.
It's the best thing to call somebody is a narc. I like to call somebody a narc or just a real dummy.
Yeah, you do.
People get real mad if they get called a real dummy.
Yeah, that's fair. But hey, you know what?
All the horrible things you can call somebody,
yeah.
I started calling people real dummies because I thought it was like the least offensive thing because it's like what a child would say.
Uh-huh.
People get real mad about it.
I'd be very offended when called a narc. That's the shit we
you're
don't
allowed,
do.
No, you're allowed to be offended if somebody calls you a narc.
Look, my white trash upbringing,
Yeah.
the number one core tenet of my household is we don't talk to the cops.
We don't narc.
We don't talk to the cops. So that one would cut me to my core a little bit. This makes me want to talk about the political stories, but I know we have a bigger story to get to.
We have a big story to get to.
So,
John Legend.
yeah, it's John Legend.
What's
is
that guy
probably it.
about?
I'm 65% sure he's a narc.
I bet.
I'll tell you right now.
Can I tell you something?
Tell me something.
And like, look, once again, this isn't slander because I'm not stating it as a fact. I'm just stating
All you have
it
to do
as
is say it's not slander.
this is just a feeling.
Uh-huh.
I think John Legend and Chrissy Teigen are probably big narcs in their personal lives.
I would agree with you.
I
also
100%.
I share that suspicion.
I believe that they've narked on so many people.
65%.
I think they're the sort of people where if you park in front of their house on a public street, they put a note on your car saying, please don't park in front of their house.
Yeah.
You know, but it's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
public street.
Right.
But they're like, please don't park in front of our house.
Yeah.
The news on
that's the kind
John
of energy.
Legend is
Sorry?
that him and Chrissy Teigen recently renewed their vows in Italy.
Good for them.
All right.
Yeah.
They
It's
vowed
beautiful.
to narc on everybody.
Yes.
They vowed to keep bullying teenagers.
Yeah, not their wedding vows. They vowed to just bully teenagers forever. Will you
They stood on a beautiful beach and they held hands.
They were
and
in the beautiful
said,
cliff town of Positano in front of the water.
I will stand by you while you harass 16-year-olds on the internet.
And then they both
So long as we both shall live.
kicked kids into the water, into
Yeah,
the
they
beautiful
kicked sand.
Mediterranean Sea.
And they kicked some sand into a kid's eyes and made out.
I don't know why I don't know how we got on this, but
I don't know.
But I'm not leaving.
Look,
I'm
I'll
not
dunk,
leaving.
I'll dunk on Chrissy Teigen any day.
That's fair.
Look it up. Remember when she was our favorite? Remember when she was everyone's favorite?
Oh, she was the queen of the internet.
Dude, she was all of our favorites. She was so #relatable.
We were all pulling for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The full Tyra Banks.
The full Tyra.
I was rooting for you.
We were all rooting for you.
Yeah.
Pulling. Rooting.
Anthony,
Narking. Yeah, go on.
politics or leaks? Where are we going?
Let's go to the leaks first.
Okay. Then I promise you some weird political bullshit. As always.
Hey, you know that big Microsoft case where everybody's trying to act like if Microsoft owns everything, it's probably fine?
Yeah, that's what we call a monopoly. Not in America, of
No.
course, but everywhere else.
I can't wait to become rich and abolish therapy. So the Microsoft versus FTC case, which it looks increasingly like Microsoft is just gonna, it doesn't matter. Microsoft's gonna be able to buy everything. There were some big leaks in this case and by Microsoft.
Yeah.
So anything that's entered into an official court filing is available to be perused online. Now, they can redact stuff in those documents, anything that isn't pertinent to the case, anything that is sensitive information, they can redact, but they still make all of these documents public.
Right.
On the FTC filing site, all of a sudden, a bunch of Microsoft Xbox documents, internal roadmap documents showed up.
Yeah.
That were not pertinent to the case at all.
Nope.
Were not needed for the case.
Nope.
Were not evidence for the case. Somebody from Microsoft just kept uploading.
Yeah, they leaked things like upcoming games. Like, they really laid out the whole plan for Microsoft for the next little bit.
Literally, Xbox until 2030 basically was talked about in this leak. And I want to start with some of the earliest stuff. We're going with The Verge has a great article that pulls together all of their other articles and things that they found throughout the day.
I'm a big fan of the way they do this because they usually put it in a timeline, which is helpful to get through.
So we're going to start down at the bottom with the very first thing, and that is a new diskless Xbox Series S design is coming soon.
And it looks like a little trash can.
And it looks like that Mac nobody
I was going to
wanted.
say, it looked like that Mac Pro that they made that everybody was like, oh, it's like a tiny desk trash can.
Oh, we all hate this.
Yeah.
This is the worst.
They stopped making those.
Oh yeah. They went back to the cheese grater.
Fascinating.
It's
they went
because
with.
remember the cheese grater is back and it has $1,000 wheels.
That's true.
They're beautiful wheels. You can you can ride a Mac to school now.
Yeah, this looks like it's like a smart assistant. It looks like I'm gonna ask it to order my groceries and start a timer while I'm cooking.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a different design, and I'm not a fan of like the cylindrical tower design, really.
Yeah.
It's cool, but what they're basically saying is like, please display this vertically and don't hide it behind a door.
Yeah.
Which, hey man, I like all of my electronics to be little rectangles that I can hide behind a door, except for my GameCube and my Dreamcast.
Now, my Xbox already vertical.
Yeah, you store yours vertically,
But like that's
but it's a choice.
the design of that
Yeah.
looks like it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
So like to me, they just took my Xbox and rounded the edges.
Yeah, that's what they did, essentially. They gave you the inability to turn it horizontal, like a lot of people do store it that way. But the updated stuff that's in this new Series X, number one, diskless.
Uh-huh.
Cool. What an update. Now, here's what I'll say.
Yeah.
Did I pay extra money for the PS5 with the disc drive? Yes. Have I ever put a disc in that PS5? No. Not true. One time I put a Blu-ray in it. Just once.
And it wasn't even a game.
Just once. No, it was Blade Runner, I think.
Yeah. On this little graphic that they have here, it says, this is a very funny tagline, the most powerful Xbox ever, now adorably all digital.
It's adorable. It's just a little guy.
What's adorable about this?
It's just a cute little guy.
It looks so...
Sweet little bean.
It's like a...
There's nothing adorable
There's
about
nothing
it.
adorable about
It's
it.
still a slab. It's still an obelisk.
Like, we've seen people make adorable consoles. In my opinion, the GameCube is an adorable console. The little handle, adorable.
I think the Xbox One S was a very adorable console.
Interesting.
I think it wasn't like, I don't know, maybe not adorable. I think the GameCube was adorable.
And the GameCube is adorable.
I think the Dreamcast was adorable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there are a lot of adorable consoles.
I don't think there are adorable American company consoles. I think that Japan has made much more creative consoles.
Sure. Your Wonder Swans. But I think
Right.
handhelds can be adorable more often.
I think handhelds can be adorable, and I just think that like the Switch is adorable.
The Switch is
The
adorable.
Switch is adorable.
It's cute. The other things that are big about it is it's got 2 terabytes internal storage now instead of 1, which you're going to need because you don't have that disk drive anymore. Then it also has 1 front-facing USB port with power delivery, which is very convenient.
Yeah.
And it uses less power. It's 15% less power consumption.
Okay.
And it's coming with what I think is the more interesting thing. Well, actually, first let me say this. It has Wi-Fi 6E, so it does the fast Wi-Fi now. And it has Bluetooth 5.2, so it's got the most up-to-date Bluetooth.
Okay.
But I think the thing that's the most exciting about it is the new controller.
Yeah, I think that all of these are really great updates. I just have to stand by they're not adorable, but I do have to point out Jelly PB in the live studio audience said, was the disk drive what's stopping it from being adorable?
No, the disk drive, that's the thing that confuses me, is the disk drive gives it a little mouth
Yeah.
so it can smile at you.
So we're scrolling all the way up to the...
If you click into that story, the bottom story, and scroll down, it'll show you the new controller. The new controller is, the code name is Sebil or Sebile.
The funny thing here is that they say it was strongly inspired by the Stadia.
Well,
Took some inspiration from and some learning from the Stadia.
they say it took stuff from the Stadia controller and the Steam controller, and I thought that was hilarious until I drilled down into it.
Yeah.
The thing that's interesting is they are working towards, and we know this, Phil Spencer does not want to sell you a box. He doesn't
Right.
want an Xbox. What he wants is a persistent cloud platform for
Yes.
games. What this does that the Stadia controller actually did well, that controller will hook directly to your home Wi-Fi.
Uh-huh.
And if you decide, I don't want to play this on my Xbox anymore, put it over on this TV, put it on my iPad, put it on my phone,
Yeah.
it seamlessly moves over and the controller moves over with it.
That's cool as hell. And Anthony would know. He was one of 3 people that owned Google Stadias, and
That's
he
right.
owned 3 of them.
That's right. I own 30% of all Stadias in the wild.
Yep.
The Steam thing that it has is
Mm-hmm.
it's able to use the vibration and the surface
Yeah.
as a speaker. So there's not a physical speaker in it, but
Yeah.
it's like it uses the vibrating surface of it to make noise, which
That's
the Steam
pretty
controller
cool.
was able to do. It also you can swap out your analog sticks.
Yeah.
It does all the things.
I do find the controllers are getting smoother
Yeah, they're smooth now.
and less tactile, which is not my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing we've done with keyboards, where like keyboards continually got smoother, and then a lot of people have gone back to like making keyboards that are more tactile.
Yeah, I like something that's a little more textured on the
Yeah,
surface.
like the rounded D-pad doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I like
The
without
four-way.
looking a separated 4 D-pad.
Yeah.
Not like literally the separated ones like old school controllers were on Nintendo, but like, you know, a little cross.
Yeah.
I don't really like the stuff in the middle.
No, that disc one, it's great for modern games, but I don't really like it for the sort of stuff that
Yeah.
I would use a D-pad for, which would be like your 2D games, your fighting games.
Yeah.
Not great. Not great for your Hadoukens and whatnot.
Yeah, and this is more of just like a preference of feeling, and you know,
Yeah.
that's it. But
Also, they're going to try to put in some more haptic feedback along the lines of the DualSense controller that Sony has. And this is something that was actually cool that the Xbox One controllers could do if you had a Kinect.
yeah,
These new controllers are going to have presence sensing. So when you set the controller down, it will go into sleep mode to save battery.
Ooh,
And this used to, Xbox One controllers would do it if you had a Kinect. The
interesting.
Kinect camera would look for your controller and see you walk away, and it would be like, cool, put the controller to sleep.
That's a little frightening.
Yeah, and also, as much power as you're saving in that controller, you're using way more to run that always-on Kinect camera.
Yeah, 100%.
But, you know, so there you go. That's the new controller. There are a couple more controllers that are listed as potential projects.
Yeah.
But they don't really talk much about them in the roadmap.
Yeah. The next leak that we got was games. We got some information about Bethesda games.
Yeah. Now, this is something that's very interesting because, the biggest thing is it says that, like, Elder Scrolls 6 is not coming to any other console but the Xbox, which we knew was going to happen. But Bethesda and Microsoft have been positioning themselves as, no.
No, we're not about exclusivity. We're not about
no,
that.
no, no,
we're
no,
not
no,
interested
no,
in that.
no.
Keep focusing on Call of Duty.
Don't worry. Keep in mind, the reason we know this is because of this court case.
About exactly
About
this.
taking these things away. They're so focused on Activision and Call of Duty. That's the thing that I hate about this court case.
Oh, yeah.
Is that they are not paying attention to everything that is going on already.
And Xbox is loving that.
Yeah.
Microsoft is living for it. So the unannounced games that were in this presentation included the Oblivion remaster set for fiscal year 2022, which can't be correct.
So these documents are from 2020.
when they were acquiring
very early in 2020.
ZeniMax,
And so
yeah.
I think that these timelines are pre-pandemic timelines.
Agreed. So we have Doom Year Zero and DLC fiscal year 2023, and second set of DLC fiscal year 2024,
Great.
obviously delayed. Fallout 3 remaster for 2024, a sequel to Ghostwire Tokyo for 2024.
Blew my mind. A sequel to Ghostwire Tokyo.
I fucking loved that game.
Now, Ghostwire Tokyo did post the other day on their social that they had sold like 6 million copies.
Yeah.
And I was like, to who?
Really?
I played Ghostwire Tokyo and I was bored.
People loved it.
Wow.
People loved it.
I wanted so much more from that game. I don't know. I'm glad that they're getting a sequel, but it blows my mind.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
Dishonored 3 for 2024.
Huge.
And then there are some titles for console and PC that didn't have specific names, including the Indiana Jones game, which we all
Sure.
know is coming. We can see that it was originally scheduled for 2022. Clearly did not make it for that. Project Kestrel.
And then Project Platinum.
Yeah. And then there's something that just says licensed IP game.
Hell yeah.
Could be anything.
I think it's probably going to be Sewer Sharks.
That's probably the licensed IP.
It's
If
been
I
a
were to
long
think of a
time since
licensed
we've seen
IP,
anything Sewer Sharks, and I think it's time to strike with a AAA huge. I mean, imagine a Bethesda Sewer
Yeah.
Sharks game.
Yeah.
Just imagine it.
I think when I think IP, I think Sewer Sharks.
You could bring Vin Diesel back.
Yeah.
He loves Sewer Sharks.
We also found out through...
Alex, will you bring up the clip of Vin Diesel playing with Sewer Sharks?
Please don't.
Please
no,
do.
No. We got other news. We got to
Please
continue
bring up
this
Vin
news.
Diesel. We don't have to look at it right now, but just have it ready to go.
This one was fucking wild to me. Phil Spencer, through emails, revealed that he really wanted to acquire Nintendo.
Now this is a weird. Okay, buck wild, but also a weird obsession Microsoft has had literally since the beginning. Before they released the Xbox, they tried to have a meeting where they bought Nintendo.
Yeah.
They tried to, like, they sat down with Nintendo and they were like, we would like to buy you. And Nintendo went,
Yeah, okay, Microsoft.
all right.
Yeah, Nintendo should probably be part of Microsoft.
No, here's the fun thing that we do with our company is we don't run at a deficit.
Yeah.
So we're actually one of the most profitable companies of all time.
I think we're good.
So we're cool, and thank you for your interest, but good luck.
In August 2020, an email to two Microsoft marketing executives, Phil Spencer wrote, Nintendo is the prime asset for us in gaming, and getting Nintendo would be a career moment. And I honestly believe a good move for both companies.
Sure. Would two giant companies forming into an even larger company be good? History says, sure, for the company, it's great. History says that goes really well for the company. So Phil's not wrong there. But that's like me saying, you know what would be dope is if I went out today and I simply bought a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be, that would be such a cool life moment for me.
Yeah.
If I went out today and I bought a cruise ship. You know what'd be cool is if I simply got the power to fly and flew home.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
That would be neat.
It'd be good for everybody.
It'd be cool if I had like the proportional strength of a bear,
Yeah, then you could beat up the strongest
which
kid.
I'm pretty close, kid. If you're listening, I'm pretty fucking close. Walk
That's-
into this studio and I will frog stomp you. I'm sorry, spiral frog stomp you.
There we go. That's crazy.
It's absolutely nuts.
That's absolutely wild to say. It's just, it's how out of touch billionaires are. Where
Hey,
they're
should
just
we
like,
buy
I can do anything.
Nintendo? Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
We should do that. Yes.
This is what happens when we don't tell little white boys no.
The next thing is we have.
This is what they grow into. We have to remember to say no to little boys.
Listen, we have to, and if they trespass on your property,
No.
you can spiral
You
frog
cannot,
stomp them.
you cannot do that. I do want to
And you can
clarify for
arrest
legal
them.
reasons
You
because
can
I don't want us to get citizens
arrest them.
arrested.
Yeah, listen, I will start the chain reaction of citizens arrests.
Please don't.
That brings this country to its
Hey,
knees.
Anthony,
And then I will be a millionaire somehow.
the country already in hell.
The other thing that we got
Yeah.
is plans for Microsoft's next console, which 2028 is what they say. Makes sense.
That's a pretty good timeline.
Pretty good
I
timeline.
feel good about that.
If we had not hit a 2-year pandemic, which ground all commerce to a halt, I would see 2028 being the year.
You don't think so?
I think it'll slip a little bit at this point, because I functionally feel like I've only had my PlayStation 5 for 6 months. You know,
Yeah.
6 or 8 months. Like everything slowed down. Like everything slowed down so much. I don't think you'll need new consoles in 2028 as much as they needed them before. Here's what I'll say. The biggest thing about this announcement, their next thing, the 2028 Microsoft Xbox, is they want to achieve full convergence of the cloud gaming platform and physical hardware to deliver cloud hybrid games. Now, this is something else that they've been saying for a long time. I don't know if you remember, but there were the early demos of, I believe it was Crackdown for the Xbox One, where it was like, hey, this is what the game looks like, but if you're connected to the internet, the Microsoft cloud computing platform will make the game look even cooler and do even more things. That's stupid. It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's a dumb thing to say. But they really want to make it happen. They really want, because they really want to get rid of hardware.
Right.
So one of the things that they're talking about is they want to develop a thing where it's you have a console, but you also have a cloud console. You have your PC. You have all this stuff. All these things that they're talking about that they've been talking about forever. But they also want all of these devices, like your TV and everything, to have an Xbox OS.
Yes.
That's the big difference between this full cloud thing that they've been talking about forever and what they're talking about now, is they want some sort of Xbox OS on mobile platforms, on your TV, on all this stuff. Now, what does that mean? That sounds like it just means an app,
Sure.
because that's all you're going to get out of Apple.
Yeah.
But for a TV to have like a built-in Xbox app.
Yeah, I mean, you see how many like different smart TVs are all running that same operating system too, though. Maybe that's something where they start collaborating with technology partners and things are, I mean, they're fucking Microsoft.
Yeah.
Like everything that isn't an Apple computer is running their shit already pretty much.
It's interesting though because the TV market especially Android has such a hold on smart TV.
Oh, it's so weird because so many of them are running like Roku. Like Roku powered with a bunch of different manufacturers, which is so interesting.
There's Roku and Android are the two big TV platforms.
Yeah,
right
like
now.
I think Android is probably the higher end TVs, and Roku's the cheap TVs.
Yeah.
Love it.
Samsung has Tizen, which means
Yeah.
as soon as you buy a Samsung TV, you buy something that has Android on it to
Yeah.
plug into your TV.
What do the Amazon TVs have? Are
They
they
run-
their own, or are they also?
They run on a modified Android TV.
Got it. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, because you can still download, you can jailbreak them and download any kind of Android TV app that you want.
Fascinating.
Yeah, that's why I bought a Fire Stick for my TVs, because I was like, I'm just gonna open this up.
Yeah.
I'll open this up, baby.
Sure, why
But
not?
Why not an Xbox TV? But because it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But also, they do want to talk about what this next console is made of. And it is going to be ARM64, Zen 6 is what they say. A balance of big and little CPU cores. You know, we're seeing a lot of this in these ARM devices now.
Yeah.
The GPU is going to be a co-design with AMD or licensing AMD's IP outright.
Very interesting.
And then the NPU would be, which is basically like their machine learning chip. They want it to be flexible, programmable machine learning silicon versus high performance silicon for targeted workloads. So this is the sort of stuff that like Apple has in their M1 chips.
Here's the thing. They also want to buy Nintendo. So any of this now, I'm just kind of like, yeah, sure, your plans or whatever. This is what we want our Xbox to be, and this is when we want it to come out.
Yeah.
Okay. And we also
Sure.
want to put Xboxes on the moon.
Well, the difference between saying that they want to buy Nintendo and they want to do this by 2028 is you do have to start when you're making huge chip buys like this.
Yeah.
You do have to start making design inroads very, very soon. So these things are probably while they have changed, I bet that they are still kind of within these targets.
I just worry because a lot of these are dated documents. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know. We can speculate around them, but like,
And that's the other thing that Phil Spencer came out and said too. He's like, these are documents from 3 years ago.
yeah, like
Things
shit
change.
changes in 3 years.
Yeah,
So
because the other thing that happened, of course, right after this is the supply chain change.
yeah, 100%.
So we'll see.
And I'm also like, that's good specs, but it's not like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, nice.
yeah. Yeah,
Right?
I mean, it's good.
It doesn't sound like, I don't know, 2028 still feels very far away. So when we describe it as things that are existing in like an M1 chip, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And obviously you're comparing a PC to, like you're comparing a computer to a console.
Yeah. Well, the big thing that we want to look at here is that right now, AMD is using Navi 3. Navi 3 is their big release
Yeah.
graphics hardware. This is talking about Navi 5. So they are talking about like, hey,
They're planning to future-proof.
yeah, whatever is 2 generations from now,
Yeah.
we want to lock in the big order with Microsoft. So number one, somebody doesn't come and make the big order before we do
Yeah.
and ruin our manufacturing plans. But also, we're betting big that AMD is going to be the partner to use in 2 generations.
Yeah.
Which I think is very, very interesting.
I think that's a pretty strong side to take.
I think it's a strong side to
I
take.
think AMD's a pretty good camp to be in right now.
I think they are also a very practical side to take because NVIDIA is very tied up with Nintendo in terms of their
Tied
consumer.
up with Nintendo, lost a lot of consumer trust in the last couple of years. Through all of the shortages and then the like price gouging and things like that. A lot of people are not having a lot of great feelings about NVIDIA.
That's true. That's true. I think on the manufacturing side, they worry less. They don't not worry about, they do worry about consumer faith in a brand, but it all gets wrapped up into a box that only has Microsoft's name on it. You know what I mean?
100%. But also, there's a reason NVIDIA lost it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
NVIDIA made poor choices
Yeah,
at
for
the end of
sure.
the day. So like consumer trust being lost in it is because of NVIDIA being unreliable.
Yeah. I think what's interesting about this is with the way the Starfield thing shook out, with people being a little disappointed in, we have somebody from AMD embedded in our team,
Yeah.
working with us to make Starfield the most beautiful game that's ever beautiful
On AMD.
on AMD. And then it came out and it's like, we did not use the latest version of FSR. What? We did not take advantage of the AMD hardware. Like, that's the only thing that's like a little weird to me. But I will say this, the next version of FSR, which is the one that's going to compete with NVIDIA's like frame generation and everything.
Yeah.
If that works the way it's supposed to work, that's going to be huge for the next generation of consoles.
Absolutely.
Huge.
It's just, it's very interesting to look that far ahead right now. And that's why we're not a bajillion dollar company, because don't ask me about 2028.
Yeah.
Don't you dare.
Don't ask me about next Thursday.
Literally don't ask me about
I
next
keep
Thursday.
buying little treats, so I don't know if I'm going to have money next Thursday.
I can't trust myself to order groceries because I'm like, well, I don't know what I'm going to want to eat tomorrow.
Who knows what you want to eat tomorrow? That's ridiculous. I'm going to lock myself into some
Silly.
food.
Absolutely not.
I open the refrigerator and there's the food I wanted yesterday and not the little treat I wanted today.
I am a Sagittarius and I will not be making such commitments.
I don't know anything about star signs, but I'm a flake.
That's my legal right. And I cannot be citizens arrested for it. There's a bunch
One
of
of the-
other stuff.
One of the biggest things about this roadmap, though,
Mm-hmm.
that I do want to mention is one of the things that they talk about you potentially playing this new generation stuff on is a sub $99 Microsoft handheld. Imagine if PlayStation had released the Portal and it wasn't Garbo. A $99 handheld. Now, I've played a lot of Xbox Cloud games on a $99 handheld.
Yeah, you have.
It's a pretty good experience.
I'd love that.
And if they subsidize that handheld
Yeah.
to make the screen real nice, put a good Wi-Fi chip in it,
Yeah.
ooh, baby.
I would absolutely love that. I think that would be excellent. I feel like we are in we're in a place that makes me sad for handhelds personally.
Yeah.
Where like people are making handhelds. That's not a handheld to
No.
me. Being able to lift it off or just it not being connected to a TV does not make it a handheld for me. I'm talking, I want to go back to the Game Boy size.
Yeah.
I would give anything. I would give anything for Nintendo to make me a Game Boy. And I know everybody's like, the Switch, it's the middle point.
No.
I want a Game Boy.
Game Boy.
I want a fucking Game Boy.
Little.
I want a new Nintendo DS. I want 2 screens and a touchscreen, and I want PictoChat and Nintendogs. I want it.
That's the thing is the Switch, the reason the Switch worked, and look, I own a Steam Deck and I like it. But all of these things that are coming out that are $800 PCs,
Yeah.
it's just like, well, that's not a handheld.
That's
it's
not it.
something I want to carry around.
No.
It's not something I want to like, oh my God, can you imagine like just losing your $800 handheld somewhere?
And I just think of like what people are buying for their kids.
Yeah.
You know, and being able to do that, being able to get them a $100 Microsoft handheld and get them playing on interesting games.
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, I think about being a kid that was bored and stuck in the car all the time.
Yeah.
And like,
you look at like,
what are kids bringing now? A whole Switch. Okay. A lot of internet connectivity, a
Yeah.
lot of things that are not like designed for actually being on the go with you.
yeah. And people looked at the Switch and they were like, oh, if only the Switch could run better games. And everybody went, don't worry, we got you. We'll make it 18 pounds
Yeah.
and 40
Which
miles wide.
Actually brings me to something. Speedpunk a moment ago in the live studio audience said, I mean, if the Nintendo Switch 2 isn't as powerful or more powerful than the Steam Deck, is owning a Nintendo console worth it?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You're just doing apples and oranges. And there's
You're
a
paying
lot
for
of people that
you're
are
paying
like,
for the IP. You're
Yeah,
paying for the
yeah.
design of the software. You're paying for all that stuff. It's like
it's a completely different catalog. It's a
like
completely different.
It's like
type of
walking up to me with an
experience.
Android phone and being like, my Android phone is faster than your iPhone. Cool, I get that.
Yeah,
Have fun.
have fun. But it is a very comparable argument in that
Yeah.
people make that where they're like, but Steam Deck better, but Steam Deck better. And I'm like, Steam Deck, too big for my tiny little hands.
true.
Please. I have dainty feminine hands. How
true.
dare you? Second of all, I'm paying for the Nintendo library. I enjoy the Nintendo gaming experience. And they're just different things. And we should have different things. All things shouldn't do the same thing.
Yeah.
All consoles don't need to be able to do the same thing. All consoles should actually do different things and be for different people.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's going to be people who are like, I love games so much, they're all for me. That's great. But like, the Steam Deck is not for my nephew.
No.
You know?
No, and to look at the Switch, and to have the takeaway be, we want this to be bigger, better games on this same form factor. Well, number one, it was the wrong takeaway for exactly what you were saying, and number two, it was the wrong takeaway because you simply can't do it. None of these things are as light or as portable as the Switch is.
Yeah.
None of these things work the same way the Switch does. By the way, the Switch, the leaks that we've been hearing about the Switch say that it is comparable to a PS4 or PS4 Pro.
And like, I
Which
don't know.
is fine.
I'm just
That's
not
so
somebody
good.
who goes to Nintendo for like graphics. I'm not
No.
somebody that goes for like anything other than the Nintendo
Look,
library of games.
There are a couple of games where when I play them, like, do I wish Tears of the Kingdom was like 60 FPS and closer to 4K? Absolutely.
Sure.
And I'm gonna get that on the next console.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really matter to me because you pay for the Nintendo experience is what it is.
Yeah, and I
so,
love it. So that's cool.
Other
and like,
stuff that
all those things exist.
Yeah, other stuff that happened in these leaks, the controller we talked about.
Yeah.
That's basically the big stuff.
That's the big stuff. However, I do recommend getting into this, and you can check out the Verge article. I'll link it in the Discord, just because some of the other stuff in here is just really funny. There's silly little detail things that were leaked in it that are just kind of hilarious.
They
Again, of
did-
like weird billionaires having weird billionaire conversations where you're just like, wow,
my
you guys
favorite
don't
one-
talk like people.
My favorite one is when they said that Baldur's Gate is like Baldur's Gate 3. They almost didn't bring it to Game Pass because they were like, we don't really, I don't know. It's like some Switch level PC really finicky RPG. It's like second tier, like blah, blah, blah. Like they looked at it and they
Biggest
just,
fucking game in the world.
biggest game in the world. And they were like, we don't want it.
There's a bunch of emails of how they reacted when the PS5 got announced and them all just being weird about it. I don't know, man. It's fun to see how these like completely detached corporate people speak.
Yeah, 100%.
It's very fun. So all of that will be in there. I am linking that in the Discord for you if you do want to check out the full article. Of course, join our Discord. It's free.
It's free. Additional games before we move on to other stuff.
Just more games in general.
Just more games.
Yeah.
Square Enix.
Yeah.
Square Enix a company known mostly for NFTs over the last couple of years, but you know, Final Fantasy 16.
Mostly for Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy 16 and bad takes is what they're known for.
Yeah.
But they understand, Square Enix now knows that they are the Final Fantasy company again.
Yes.
And they said, we keep trying new stuff. Like they tried Forspoken, it didn't work for reasons.
Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that they tried and they were like, you know, we were looking at it and it turns out we have like a lot of IP that we could be making AAA games.
Yeah.
Which all of the Square fans in the world screaming for years. Just give us a new this. Just give us a new this.
And give us a big this.
Give us a
Put
big
budget into this.
What are you doing? So they're like, what if we took some of our old IP and turned it into AAA games?
So,
what a concept! What an amazing idea by Square Enix.
So Square Enix divides its business into 3 different units. It's HD games, MMOs, and games for smart devices or browser-based titles. And so specifically they're saying with their HD games, is what they call it, they said to their investors, I want to improve our profitability. Really? And said, I see ample room for improvement in our operating profit margin and would like to start by working primarily on our HD games. In addition, rather than solely attempting to create brand new IPs, we intend to take a nuanced approach to investment whereby we also identify existing IPs with the potential to be upgraded to AAA status.
Yeah.
And then it's all like money talk.
And then it's like, hey, new Parasite Eve? New Parasite Eve? You've been sitting on Parasite. Hey, Brave Fencer Musashi? Brave Fencer Musashi? You're sitting on a lot of games. You're sitting on a lot of games.
Yeah.
If they gave me a new Parasite Eve or Brave Fencer Musashi, I would absolutely lose my goddamn mind.
You and 5 other people, dude.
I would lose my goddamn... Parasite Eve there are dozens of us.
There are dozens of us.
There are literally 5. There are at least 10 of us who care about Brave Fencer Musashi.
Yeah. Currently, they are dealing with their stock having fallen 30% from its peak of this year. So naturally, they're like, guys, let me tell you what our plan is. Our plan is more money soon and good and more with our games that we're making that will have money, ROI, synergy.
It's fun to watch a company go from we know what you want to, oh, we should listen to what they want. Like real quickly.
Yeah.
It's fun to watch that
We know
happen.
what you want. You gonna say it? But like you should say it first.
Yeah. Oh, we know what you want. We're gonna give you this game and we're gonna give you these NFTs and we're gonna give you this mobile experience and we're gonna give you... What if we gave you infinite remakes of the same 4 Final Fantasy games infinitely?
And the Final Fantasy fans said, yes, daddy, thank you.
They said, we'll take what we can get. Honestly, it's fine.
Yeah.
So that's cool. If you have Square stuff, I would love to hear from people what Square stuff they would like resurrected.
Any Square objects that you have.
Yeah. Maybe a current Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Because we know that the next one's going to be round.
Yeah. A good Square coaster.
Ooh. A Ruby QB?
Yeah. Maybe a Ruby QB.
Love a Ruby QB.
Okay. A lot of this from here is like businessy news. So let's do the one last piece of video game news, which is about Mortal Kombat 1 again. We talked about Mortal Kombat quite a bit on Monday, about how disappointed people were with the Switch release. But now people are talking about something else, and that is Megan Fox. People were so excited to see Megan Fox return as Natara.
I was so hyped to hear Megan Fox as Natara. It feels like a character that's a good match for her because listen, this is a Jennifer's body house.
We love Jennifer's body in this house.
This is a Megan Fox household.
Love it.
We believe in Megan Fox.
Now, I was confused though. So I saw the headlines and my immediate gut response was, oh, okay, are we just hating women?
That's what I thought. I was like, okay.
Especially like a celebrity woman.
She came into this game and she doesn't know anything about it. And she's playing the character and blah, blah, blah. Then I listened to the clips.
And that's fair.
Then I listened to the clips.
Alex, can we watch this on my laptop with sound? Thank you very much, because I want us to also listen to it together as we do this. So this is a TikTok by Spectre Gaming that posted this, and we'll take a listen together.
You won't welcome us in your realm? We already have enough mouths to feed. was right. Because of Quan Chi's magic, my realm's people are no longer poisoned by sunlight. We've finally escaped the shadows. Are we of
Wait,
the same blood? Mine is superior.
So,
listen, is it the worst VO I've ever heard in a video game?
no.
No.
But it's up there.
But it's pretty bad. And also, this performance came out along with another announcement on Twitter by Christina V. We love Christina V, a queen of voice acting for years, voice acting and voice directing.
Mm-hmm.
She does all of the non-dialogue sounds for Natara.
Okay.
Which means Megan Fox only did those cutscenes.
Yeah.
Any fight noises
Yeah.
or other efforts came from Christina V.
Yeah.
Which means they threw away Megan Fox's voice performance.
Or she just didn't fucking do them.
or she didn't do them.
want to make effort sounds.
Which is possible. Effort sounds take a lot of time.
They take a lot of time, and you'd have to pay a lot of Megan Fox money to get that.
But apparently, they either did not do it or threw it away because Christina V does. If Natara makes a sound you like in the game, it's
probably
it's Christina.
Here's something. It sounds like they used a Megan Fox AI to make this.
It really does.
Like, it sounds like those like voice boards that have been around since like the early 2000s, where like when people were prank calling, they were like, I'm gonna use a Stewie Griffin voice board.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of those.
It sounds kind of like that.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. There's one down here where it just unfortunately the clip just says Megan Fox cannot voice act, is like boom over the top. But there's
It's pretty brutal.
But there's a thing where it's like the blade's enchanted, like she gets hit by it and it's
They're
it's
all
a bad
really
line read.
bad.
She
They're
literally
all
gets
really
slashed
bad.
by a sword.
Yeah.
And her character is surprised that she could get hurt by a sword.
Yeah.
She gets slashed and it's like, that blade's enchanted.
Longer.
Right?
We heard this one.
That blade's enchanted.
It's rough. It's rough, buddy. It's rough.
You're bleeding from your arm.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not good. It's not good. And I know people like to hate Megan Fox, so I'm a little bummed because
I'm a
I
little
hate
bummed
when
too.
they get to be I hate when they get to feel validated in that. It's so weird because I rewatched Jennifer's Body recently and I
So
was like,
good.
holds up, stellar. Kicks ass.
I think that there's a larger discussion to be had, and particularly right now, while we're in the midst of these strikes and video game performers are about to go on strike.
Yeah.
There's a discussion to be had about the value of bringing in a celebrity for your game.
Yes.
And what does that mean? And is this person right? Like sometimes it works great. You bring in a television actor, a movie actor. You look at like you bring in like a Norman Reedus or somebody like that.
Yeah.
That really takes it to heart and plays the character.
Yeah.
And gives a performance.
Not all actors are voice actors.
Right.
But some on-camera actors are also voice actors.
Yes.
There are people that can do both, but it is not a like blanket experience.
Yeah, and it also becomes like, what do you gain? Because Natara does not look like Megan Fox. So what do you gain by bringing in?
I mean, yeah, she does.
I mean, a little bit.
no,
but
they definitely used her face.
do you think they used her face? I think they
Yes.
made it look legally distinct from Megan Fox.
Dude, it's literally Megan Fox.
It did not read to me as Megan Fox.
That doesn't read to you as Megan Fox?
Oh wait, yeah, it kind of does.
No, it's
Yeah, that's
Megan
Megan
Fox.
Fox.
It's Megan Fox.
All right. I didn't clock it as Megan Fox, but now that you brought it up, I do. Yes.
Decidedly, definitely Megan Fox.
Well, then I'll throw that point away. But I was just gonna say, like, if the character doesn't look exactly like the person you're hiring,
Yeah.
if it isn't recognizable, and if that person doesn't bring something to the character, why are you gonna put that money into that?
Right.
Why not hire a vocal performer and also pay those vocal performers what they're worth?
Yeah.
Because I bet you Christina V spent a lot more time playing Natara
Yeah.
than Megan Fox did.
And got a lot less money.
And got way less money.
VO, I agree with VO 5100 said, to be fair, there are movie actors who have gone on to be legendary voice actors like Mark Hamill.
Yep.
He is just not the majority.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the thing is like, again, there are people that really want to commit to doing it. And then there are people that are just celebrity gets.
Yeah.
And she was a celebrity get for this. It's not like Megan Fox is pursuing being a voice actor. Or
Right.
like, and isn't a character actor in general.
Yeah, this is not a thing like, even with the Nick Cage in Dead by Daylight thing, you get the vibe that at least Nick Cage like is interested in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so he brings, and there's a difference, I think, between bringing Nick Cage to something, you know, and bringing other actor. Like he's one of those people where it's just like, oh, he's been famous for 1,000,000 years. But it's still like,
I'm over it.
there's a gimmick of him bringing him in as Nick Cage. Like he wasn't in as a character. He was in as Nick Cage, which even says something, you know?
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
As somebody who is a baby millennial, I'm right the year before the cutoff of being Gen Z. The Nick Cage
First of all,
thing
congrats.
feels like such elder millennial humor to me.
It's epic bacon.
Like it really
It's definitely
is.
epic bacon narwhal of everybody.
It is like it's giving Ike and has cheeseburger for me.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it.
The
And
Nick
again,
Cage-
it might be an age thing. It might be, but like we're putting him in stuff and people are eating it up. And I'm just like, this does not appeal to me in any capacity.
The Nick Cage thing it's weird because I'm not like the hugest fan,
Yeah.
but like, and even when he was at his movie star height,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't really like.
Yeah,
he's cool, but like whatever. I'm not like into him. And then it kept going, and then it became the joke of Nick Cage.
Right. And I'm
I
not
was
talking
like-
about Nicolas Cage, the actor, acting in movies.
No. And I get what you're saying, but like, and then it kept going,
The
going,
meme.
and I never caught on to the goof of Nick Cage.
Yeah, like it's the meme for me that doesn't do it.
Like, it
that I'm
doesn't
just
register.
like, oh, it's funny because it's Nick Cage. And I'm like, okay. Sure.
And I do think the unbearable weight of massive talent was really good.
It was a really good movie.
It was a really good movie
Yeah.
because somebody was like, if this is the thing about Nick Cage, how do we turn this into a real movie with real characters that does something interesting?
I watched that recently and I think it was great.
Yeah, it
I
was
really
very
do. I
good.
think it was great. Miss Reaper said hot take, Nick Cage, just a guy. And I agree. I think he's just a guy. But like, haha, we have his face on throw pillows in here. And I was just like, I don't know. Yeah, he's just kind of a guy.
He was like, when you look back at early Nicolas Cage, when you look at like things like Moonstruck and Vampire's Kiss and all this stuff,
Yeah.
he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Or he was a good actor. I think he kind of has that thing going on that you don't like about Sam Jackson as well, where it's like, you were a really amazing actor. Like if you look at Mississippi Burning and all these things that Samuel L. Jackson was in, Oscar caliber actor who dialed into a thing, and the thing became part of the zeitgeist.
And now it's all he does.
And now that's what he does.
Now
and
it's all he
makes
does.
Millions and billions of dollars. for it.
100%.
And I think Nick Cage could have been one of the most interesting character actors of our time.
And I still think that he does interesting character performances. I don't dislike Nick Cage in movies.
No.
I loved Renfield. Loved him in Renfield. I think he was excellent in Renfield. I enjoyed the hell out of what's the weird Five Nights at Freddy's script?
Oh yeah, that was good.
It wasn't because of him. It was just because that was a busted movie.
Willy's
that was-
Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland.
Willy's Wonderland. Thank you. Willy's Wonderland was fucking bananas.
Yeah, Mandy was
and
unbelievable.
I haven't seen Mandy, but
Oh,
everyone loves Mandy. I know
will-
everyone loves Mandy.
You will love Mandy. It is bonkers.
I want to be clear. Willy's Wonderland is not a good movie.
Yeah.
But it's like unhinged enough, and it's not. It's not really memeing on it. It's simply the meme for me that I'm just like, oh.
And he's in
Okay.
good movies and he's done good work. It's just I don't dial
I
into
actually
the,
feel a little bit the same way about Keanu. I love Keanu Reeves. I think he's a fantastic actor, but the like memification and like weird commodification
the
of
world
Keanu Reeves,
latching on to Keanu Reeves.
so weird to me.
I don't, but I think you and I are the sort of people where it's just like,
People are
I
gonna hate
don't,
me for
I
that.
don't like that because you're almost deifying them in a strange way.
Yeah.
When you say Keanu Reeves is the nicest, sweetest guy in Hollywood, it may be true, but I don't want to canonize that in a single human being.
Stop making celebrities your most specialist little guys.
Yeah, it weirds me out.
It weirds me out.
And it also I think perpetuates a lot of stuff that's going on right now where where people say like, I don't know what I'm gonna do if my Blorbo ever does something wrong. Like, oh no, what happens if Keanu ever does something wrong? It'll break my heart and it'll end me. He's allowed to do things wrong. He's a human being.
Yeah. And here's the thing, you don't know him. You don't know him.
You just don't know him. You
just don't know him. And there's a lot of us that cling on to this idea of like wanting to believe someone's good. But I think the thing that happened with Johnny Depp is he was deified and people treated him as their special littlest boy when he is a grown, monstrous man.
Yeah.
But people were like, no, but he would never. And I'm like, you don't know him.
You don't know him.
You don't know him. So then when you read texts between him and Marilyn Manson of him being a predator, you were like, no, our Johnny wouldn't do that.
No, and also there has to be good person, bad person in conflict. No. Two people can be shitty and shitty to each other.
Absolutely.
And I think that's why the things of like, I do like that Keanu seems to retreat from that.
I agree. Doesn't seem like he contributes to his own deification.
Nick Cage will lean in sometimes and lean back sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I think that's part of celebrity where they kind of have to do that in order to stay relevant, which is another problem with celebrity. But
it is.
You want to talk about, I don't know how to segue this.
Before we segue, actually, a couple of things. Unsilent Will made the greatest comparison in the live studio audience and said regarding the Nicolas Cage thing, it's the Chuck Norris meme repeating forever.
Yeah.
And it is. It hits exactly the same spot as the Chuck Norris meme. To me, it is exactly that. I think that's very, very interesting. And then Tom Biden brought up that people are doing that right now with Russell Brand of like, no, he's our good boy. He would never. Russell Brand was just accused of 2 seriously major crimes, which I don't feel like we're going to have time to like properly get into.
And also, who's ever watched Russell Brand and been like, yeah, this is a sweet boy?
No, people do. People love Russell Brand because he had that YouTube channel for a while that started out with him being like, I'm posting things that are philosophical and then very quickly got anti-vax.
Oh, right. Yeah, I don't know. I've never seen that guy as a fountain of knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't know why anybody else did, but that's fine.
Yeah, but it happens. Yeah, he frames himself as just a silly lad, and then he had all of this, like, I'm a silly lad that also has deep thoughts.
And he was in a bunch of those 2010 movies, like 2008, Bedtime Stories, Despicable Me, Hop.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like, I always saw him, he always is, like, scumbag guy in those movies, and I feel like, well, that's because he's a scumbag stand-up.
Yeah.
And so we brought him to play, like, kind of scummy guys.
Yeah.
And then everybody was like, Russell Brand is one of the great thinkers. And it's like, is he? Russell Brand?
Yeah.
From Forgetting Sarah Marshall?
Matt Chukol in the live studio audience said, The Onion on Monday, Nation could have sworn Russell Brand was already a convicted sex offender.
Right? That's where I'm coming from.
I was getting a little bit Mandela affected by that, to be honest, because I read that and I was like,
I thought it already happened.
I thought we already knew that.
I thought that was a thing.
I'm not kidding, and I didn't want to say anything.
Reddit thing of I always got that vibe and I never liked him.
I genuinely am not kidding. Like, I'm having the effect of like, I could have sworn this was already a news story.
I thought it happened.
I thought this had already happened. So I'm so glad someone else said it because I was like, I'm going to sound fucking bananas if I say it. But like you can't say that.
Wasn't John Legend put under citizen's arrest?
Yes, Anthony. Okay.
Speaking of citizen's arrest,
let's talk about some politics. There you go. You found the segue.
Where were all of you people in the theater to commit to citizen's arrest?
Lauren Boebert. She kind of did. She got security arrested. This is a little bit of an older story, but we didn't get to it last week.
But it continues on. It's
simply, the years start coming and they don't stop coming. Lauren Boebert was escorted out of my favorite musical, Beetlejuice, in Denver after, quote, causing a disturbance. Now, what kind of disturbance might Lauren Boebert have been causing?
Well, it depends on when during the week you checked in and how much security footage was released.
Correct. Because initially, the reports were just that she was like loud, talking, heckling, pulling out her phone and filming with like the flash on and shit. Like just weird boomer behavior.
Yeah. And then that escalated into also vaping.
in the theater.
Also vaping in
and
the
that
theater.
wasn't confirmed initially, and now people are like, no, she was for sure vaping.
No, it was
dude.
vaping. And then security came over and she apparently pulled a "Do you know who I am?"
Uh-huh.
and a "I'm on the board of the theater," which was untrue. She was not on the board of the theater. Now, the reason why this is interesting, well, it gets more interesting.
Uh-huh.
Because then the night vision security footage came out
Uh-huh.
of Lauren Boebert and her date really just going at it like two kids that got dropped off at the movie theater.
Yeah.
Really just like you would think this dude had never grabbed a boob before.
Yeah.
Like he really had that 15-year-old energy, you know?
Initially, people were like shaming the outfit she was wearing for being real titties out, and I will never shame a woman for having
No.
her titties out.
No.
I will say, when I say titties out, I didn't mean physically taking them outside of your dress in a theater.
No.
I didn't mean that.
And she was, and then it does seem like on the footage, there's a popcorn bucket situation going on without the popcorn bucket.
It's
It's
wild.
A wild thing.
Yeah, if you want to show it on my screen, Alex, I've pulled up the video for it because it wasn't initially linked in that article. So
this one
this is the night vision.
Yeah.
This is her like turning on flash and stuff, yelling, heckling.
She's in the center there. There's a version
You can
of it.
see her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there it
here we
goes.
go. This is the next clip where we're moving in. People are walking around talking. Okay, this is where she's getting asked to leave. I'm trying to find the one of her. Them taking selfies with the flash on.
One of the things that came out that was particularly interesting is that, okay, so once Lauren Boebert is currently going through a divorce with her current husband, who is accused of exposing himself to underage people, and was apparently on a date with a gentleman that owns a bar that has drag shows, which, hey, cool date. Except that you're anti-drag show.
Yeah, hey, you can't lobby against and call people groomers and all of the things that the fucking right-wing assholes are calling drag performers, trans people, the queer community as a whole, and then also be like, yeah, but I'll sleep with a guy who has a drag bar. Like,
yeah,
fuck
like
yeah.
that's fine. Like
Yeah,
that's
that's
cool.
fine.
No, he's cool. He's cool to do it.
Right.
Yeah, that's the absolutely wild thing here. And remember that part of the reason that it's not a reason, but it's an excuse for persecuting drag performers is that the drag shows will corrupt the children.
Which
we say, number one, children don't go to drag shows. And number two, no, they won't. No, they won't. And number three, hey, isn't Beetlejuice a family musical? Like, aren't there children in that theater?
Absolutely.
Watching your behavior and watching you, I don't know, it's like watching you being sexualized, which is what you're afraid of children seeing,
Yup.
is sexual behavior.
Yep.
Listen,
It's
we don't want
very
children to see
interesting.
sexual behavior except for my sexual behavior because I'm a good person.
Well, here's the thing. We only want children to see straight sexual behavior is
Right.
exactly the thing. Like, it's clearly rooted in homophobia, transphobia. So when they say sexualizing, they don't even mean sexual acts because drag is not sexual. Drag is in no way tied to sex in any capacity. Now, are there sexual drag shows? Sure. Absolutely. Hey, there's a sexy version of literally everything, of truly anything and everything. There's The Empire Strips Back. Come on now.
yeah.
So with that in mind, it is simply the like demonization of queer people that it's always been about,
Yeah.
and saying that being queer is inherently sexual and perverted. So when she is at this show, which also has very like left-aligned jokes and commentary in it, on a date with somebody who has a bar that does drag shows at it, it becomes once again apparent that it's never actually been about policy. It's never actually been about even honestly any strongly held beliefs. It's about outrage. It is about
It's a public performance.
Yeah.
It's a public performance to get yourself into a position of wealth and power.
Yeah.
That's
it's
all it is.
Outrage and discrimination over and over and over again. And she herself is notorious for calling drag performers groomers. And her only takeaway from this was, I guess I can't date another Democrat.
Yeah, I should ask people their political party before I go out with them now. oh, okay. Her initial statement was like, yes, I had a little too much fun at the Beetlejuice show. And then it came out like, okay, yeah, I was vaping, but I forgot I was vaping. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was on a date with this guy and we did get physical, but it's like, that's none of your business. And it's like, well, it is our business now because you did it in a public theater.
Because you did it in a public theater and you're a public representative. And if this had been imagine if it was AOC. Imagine the fucking outrage.
Oh, please.
If it was AOC. Imagine the horrible, horrific things they would be saying about her.
Do you remember they got mad because she had a nickname in college? They got mad because in college she called herself Sandy.
Yeah.
And they were like, Sandy? Called herself Sandy. It's like, buddy, that's just a nickname.
You guys...
It's an assumed identity. She didn't want to be perceived as who she really is. And it would be people whose names are like Bob and Dave saying it. It's like, Robert, you understand what a nickname is. Michael.
Don't you, Michael?
Don't you, Matthew? Do you understand?
Richard?
Like what?
Look, it was the biggest scandal in the country at the time when Obama wore a tan suit. So we all know that these things are not equally applied, obviously. And it is because one side of the political spectrum is much more concerned with larger issues and the other just hates women, queer people, and people of color.
Lauren Boebert, by the way, like, I mean, when you talk about as a representative and somebody who cares about etiquette and decorum and things like that, number one, misses votes continuously. There's repeated footage of her running up the steps of the fucking building late to a vote and having missed it. And it'll be an issue that she campaigned on.
Yeah.
And then, the other thing is she is one of the groups of people who, when you talk about etiquette and decorum within government and polite society, screams at the president when he's giving the State of the Union.
Correct.
Like, screams during a presidential address.
Yes.
It's ridiculous. And unfortunately...
Lauren Boebert's a fucking joke.
It's absolute joke. And unfortunately, I don't think to people who already vote for Lauren Boebert...
It's going to mean anything.
This is gone in a week.
No, here's the thing. It's not even that it's gone in a week. It's like to get to the point where you are in support of Lauren Boebert and the things that she has done so far, like you are so deeply detached from reality that like literally nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Lauren Boebert could stand in front of the House of Representatives itself and punt a baby into the sun and they would be like, that's our fucking girl.
Now,
she didn't do anything wrong.
Now, if the baby trespassed and
She
was
has the
not
right.
supposed to be in
Yeah.
there, then if that was a citizen's arrest...
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yep.
There are Saige, we have to understand that there are certain situations in which that behavior is okay.
Yeah. It's fucking wild. There's no logic behind this. So unfortunately, these stories are to somewhat insignificant. But it is
But they
fun.
are fun
It's
and
fun to
funny.
laugh at.
Yeah.
It's funny as somebody who also just recently saw the Beetlejuice musical and didn't experience any local representatives vaping and taking their titties out. That's pretty funny that it happened.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I wish you could have gone to
It was
a
a
better
great show.
Yeah.
It was a great show. I had a great time at it. But
Audience was a bunch of nerds though.
Yeah.
Nobody was vaping or making out.
Yeah. There were no representatives in the audience taking flash photography. So,
That's so buck wild.
It's bananas. She's genuinely unhinged. Like, that is a deeply unwell person.
Just buck wild.
That's somebody that would not be able to hold down a normal job, and we give them a position in office. So, whoa. You'd get fired from a fucking fast food joint, dog. How are we doing this?
Should I give up my morals?
Which ones?
Like any of them? All of them?
All of them.
Should I just give them up and get power and
You
wealth?
trying to get the American millions that you promised?
Would that just help me get the power and wealth, do you think? Or because
Hey, Anthony,
Yeah.
looking at you?
yeah,
Yes. Look at him, guys.
stronger than every child. I'm tougher than every baby.
So,
That's my campaign platform.
tougher than every baby. You know what? There was other political news. We do have to really quickly, because we wouldn't stop talking about it on social media. I know that we have to go because we are over on time, but we do have to acknowledge the cheese.
Oh, we have to acknowledge the cheese.
We have to acknowledge the cheese. They're putting microchips in cheese.
Look, this was something where I came in and they were like, and everybody was talking in the office
yeah.
this morning. We're putting microchips in cheese to track the cheese, and I was like, oh, Parmesan. And it was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, Parmesan.
Yeah.
Got it. You got to do it. Do you know how much those wheels of cheese are worth?
I had no idea. How much?
They're crazy. We're talking thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars per wheel of cheese.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna try and say this because I'm gonna
Here's
butcher
the deal.
it real bad.
There is Parmesan cheese, but Parmesan doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Parmesan could be anything. You can get Kraft Parmesan Shake'ems,
Right.
which is actually very delicious. But the real cheese is Parmigiano Reggiano.
Okay.
And it is a very fancy cheese. It is the equivalent of like saying you can't call it champagne if it's not made by the right people in the right way.
Right.
This is the fanciest fucking cheese.
So CFPR, the abbreviated version of the longer one I'm not going to try and say because I will butcher Italian, has estimated that the annual global sales of fake cheese total to around $2 billion.
It's ridiculous.
A figure closely approaching the impressive $3.1 billion achieved by the authentic product in sales last year.
You wouldn't download a cheese, would you?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Clearly people would.
I wish I could download a cheese.
So by implanting chips into the cheese, the brand hopes to suppress the counterfeiting and protect the reputation of its Parmesan cheese wheels.
Can I tell you something? Here's why this isn't going to work.
Okay.
Microchipping the cheese, yes. It means, yes, this is for real.
Yeah.
The real cheese. It's up. Speaking of somebody who's worked in multiple restaurants,
We're not checking.
they don't care. They don't care. They want it to appear real. They want to bring the big wheel of the cheese out to you. Maybe they, the one where they make the pasta in the cheese.
Yeah.
And they pour in the wine and they make the pasta right there in the cheese. They don't care if that's the actual cheese. They just want to charge you like it is. Do you know the number of restaurants that say they have Kobe beef? That's impossible. Do you know how small Japan is? Do you know how small the Kobe region is? Do you know how long it takes to raise a cow? There's no way
I don't know
all
any
of
of these things.
Listen, there's no way that all of these restaurants have Kobe beef. It's fake. It's a lie. Parmesan cheese isn't real. Cast off your shackles. Kick every child. Spiral frog stomp the government. The cheese is fake.
Okay. Well, there's still one part in there I do think we have to be careful about. But essentially, this isn't actually going into the cheese. This is a tag that's going to be on the cheese wheels that has like a QR code on it that's going to be microchipped to be able to track for it. It's like trying to track a real dollar bill and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Look,
Do you care if your cheese is real?
I care. I legitimately care.
Yeah.
I care.
I do. Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah. I'm Italian enough in my family where I also don't like it when people break the pasta. I don't make a thing of it, but you know
Yeah.
all those YouTubes of like people with Italian partners and they break the pasta in front of their Italian partner.
Yeah.
And they're like, Bella, why? Oh no, what are you doing? Internally, my brain does that, but I don't say it out loud.
You have.
Have I said that? Have I said that to you?
Yeah, 100%.
You can't break the
'cause here's the
pasta,
thing, look.
Saige. You can't. Why? It's a specific length for a reason. Bella.
I'm an Irish Jew, raised white trash in San Juan Capistrano, California. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. If it makes it easier for me to fit in my little pot and it's gonna make my process a little bit easier, why do I care about the length of the noodles? Why do I care? I'm gonna bite them, I'm gonna chew them. They're not gonna stay that length forever, my friend.
Bella, no.
Yeah, it's gonna get on my fork easier.
Bella, why? No.
Look. I'm breaking up my ramen.
No.
I'm
what?
breaking up my spaghetti.
Don't
Yeah, dude.
do it, dude.
Yeah, man.
No.
Nothing is sacred to me.
Hey, just don't though.
Nothing
it's
is sacred
just
to
as
me.
easy to not.
Try me. Congratulations, I fed myself.
Just
Good
use,
for me.
Just use real cheese and don't break the pasta.
Look, I prefer a penne anyways.
It's true, you do.
I think it's neat. It picks up a little bit of the sauce on the inside.
There's nothing. Listen, if you go to a restaurant
We gotta go.
and Saige is there, check on the a real Italian restaurant. Check on the children's menu to see if they have a cacio e pepe. That's how you know she's happy. That's how you know you got a happy Saige.
Anyways, they're microchipping cheeses now because y'all can't stop lying about your cheese.
Yeah.
So that is where we're going to leave you for today. Thank you so much for joining us. Of course, we do this show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at exactly 9 a.m. Pacific, and we are always on time. If it doesn't look like it, that's not us. That's your clock.
Tense Netflix action series about the Italian strike force that goes after the cheese counterfeiters.
Nice. Probably already in development.
Think about it. Yeah. It'll get
Probably
2
already in
seasons and
development.
then get
Yeah.
canceled.
And not one real Italian on the cast. Not one. Anyways, you should join our Discord. That is where people suggest stories for things that they want to see us talk about, and we appreciate it so much. Thank you for contributing to the show, and this is how we know. That's where I put the link today to some of the things that we were talking about. Thank you to Oracle for dropping some great news in there today that we did reference and talk about. We appreciate it so much. And thank you to everybody who supported us during the show. And the number one thing you can do is just show up and watch it. The number two thing that you can do is spend money on it.
That's right.
Which is pretty cool.
Those things are not in order of importance necessarily.
Those are just two things.
Those are just
two things that you can do.
Who knows?
This show will be available hopefully as a podcast soon as Spotify approves it. So you'll also be able to listen to it in the audio form. But back to money, there's a donation goal running behind us. It runs all month long. And that is to support the cast that you see directly on screen and being able to do things. We call it our sugar breakfast goal because Anthony and I want to be able to go get donuts after the show.
That's right. That's right.
It.
That's it. That's all
That's it. Money, what is that? You can also support us on Patreon, patreon.com/pixelcircus. We appreciate you so much for those who do. I just added a 7-day free trial, actually. Patreon has free trials now. So if you actually haven't checked out our Patreon, you can do a 7-day free trial. I put it at like the $10 tier, which gives you access to all of the bonus content. So you can go back and you can watch. There's failed safe after shows. You can watch the bonus clips from It's Too Early. See if you like it. See if there's good value in it for you. And Anthony, when you're not here, where are you?
You can find me everywhere online at Carboni, except for here or on Twitch, where I'm at Anthony Carboni, and my podcast is at wehaveconcerns.com.
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Not Saige. I stream on my channel Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And pretty soon, you can see me at either Big Bad Con or TwitchCon. We are putting up a live Pixel Circus game at TwitchCon, which I'm super excited about. We have an amazing cast. All of that is going to be on our Twitter today at 11 o'clock. There will be a little formal announcement. That's in 10 minutes. But yeah, we're at 12 o'clock on Saturday at TwitchCon, and it is pretty exciting. Oh yeah, and today you can find us both on the Kind of Funny Screencast.
That's right.
We got to talk about that Ahsoka episode. It was a big episode today.
Big app.